showing yesterday.
Yeah, no need to talk about that.
Yeah, well, while we're getting set up, tell us about, because, are we on, Griff? The premise of what we teach here, Sarah, we're catching you up on this, but again, you could probably teach this class. We teach from the premise that people would rather have a friend than an expert as their realtor. They'd rather have a friend than an expert. I preach that, Joel Epstein preaches that, and then Ashton Gustafson, who was here at Carr a couple weeks ago, preaches the same thing. But the golden spot in real estate is when you are both a friend and an expert. That's what we're trying to kind of combine here too. But given the two, if you had to choose one, take the friend. And the friends want to do business with you. And so part of this class there that we've kind of built up to this is, it hasn't exactly been how to be a friend, but it's how to get people to like you using this Ford method that we talk about. And the Ford method is very Socratic in nature. It's asking questions. How many in your family? What do you do for a living? What do you like to do? R, for recreation. And D, what are your dreams? If you can penetrate that far into somebody's world. And so we talk about the importance of being able to walk up to anybody, which is kind of a new skill for me. It was when I got into real estate. I'm a little bit more introverted by nature. Sarah's like, I don't believe that it's true. Because every time I'm with Sarah, it's like, yeah, Jeff, you haven't stopped talking. You keep saying you're an introvert, but you talk all the time. Sorry, I have a lot to say. But when you meet somebody new, to get them to like you and establish a relationship with you, it's the Socratic method of asking questions. It's not about me. It's about Nikki. Nikki, where are you from?
Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, well, what brought you to Charlottesville?
A long chain of events that basically sum it up, military and post-military.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Neat. What did you do before real estate?
For real estate, I ran a bookkeeping and small business, advisory business. So yeah, paper pushers is my baby.
You accounting kind of have accounting brain?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun?
I like to make music and ride my motorcycle.
What kind of motorcycle do you have?
I have a Triumph Bonneville.
Okay, stop for a second. So I just go right into autopilot on this. Where are you from? What did you do? In this case, I know what she does now, but what did you do before real estate? And then what do you like to do for fun? I go right into that, and I can kind of get into Nikki world by asking these questions. How about dream? Do you have a dream you would share with the group?
Oh gosh, I'd really like to work on my music.
I don't know about your music thing. Tell me about your music thing.
Always been a musician.
Like what?
Yeah.
What do you play?
I sing and I write.
Uh-huh.
And the nature of the beast is that you also need to play something.
Uh-huh.
So I also play guitar, but I'm not a guitarist.
Oh, but you are learning?
Well, yes, I have ability to do it, but there's a difference between someone who plays guitar because they sing and they write and a guitarist. And I'm not going to insult my friends who are guitarists by claiming to be one.
All right, I'm going way off track here, but you've now sucked me into your world. This is a weird question, but if there was a musical artist who is you or you want to be, or who is Nikki, like who is it? Are you? I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying why are you Shania Twain, but are you? Who are you?
No, I mean she's great.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a Shania Twain. I'm more of a Adele, B.B. King, Nora Jones. Maybe throw in some Frank Sinatra.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Bluesy.
And is there any chance you'd look into that camera and just hum us a bar? Or,
No, don't put her on the spot.
This is going to be our most viewed video ever, featuring Nikki.
Wait, are you for real?
Just give us. some love with us. Because I'm about to get started here and I needed, a moment.
Sure.
to get
Take a
really
breath.
good.
Late in the night, I cannot sleep. Memories of your arms wrapped around me. Happens all the time. I cannot get you. You are my mind.
All right.
I'm gonna start bringing you to parties with me.
I will do your musical open house.
Do you sing or play locally? I mean, are you in?
Yeah. Well, I haven't in a while. I was hitting it, trying to hit it a little hard for a while. It's hard to keep balance in life sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Kids too, right?
yeah. So, yeah. I love the local. There are open mic nights.
Yeah.
If you've never been, have you?
Uh-huh.
Best date night, truly. If you need to go on a date or just go hang out, Monday nights at the local in Belmont. You get such a cool. It's the coolest open mic. Yeah.
Well, you ever on the open mic?
Yeah. Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I will make that one of our
So I
training
think God,
events.
so I think God Bless America at the baseball game on Saturday for UVA. Every now and then I get out and I do things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah. But sure, if you guys want to know next time I go to the local, I'll let everybody know. Half off wine before 9.
Time out for a second. So, do you see how by asking these questions we get to a place with somebody that I've talked with Nikki several times before, but I had no idea of that little place in her world. But if you can open that up through asking the questions, I can kind of inch a little bit closer in the relationship, which is, again, the theory that they want a friend. They want an expert too, but they want a friend first. I found my friend. All right, here we go. So here's the deal. I am keeping an eye on the clock today because at 11:30 this thing ends, but I'm going to give you nothing but Jeff Gaffney energy up until then. Asking questions unlocks the door to your success. So I think a lot of newer realtors fall into this trap thinking that when they show property, they have to do all the talking. There's kind of a stereotype out there that you see the guy or the gal or the guy showing around and saying, here's the kitchen, and here's the family room, and here's the dining room. My technique is totally separate from that. And I want to share with you, there's a couple of techniques embedded in here, and you veterans or anybody have any questions, just stop me as we go. But the very first showing, Jim walks into the office, hey, I'm here. Allison had somebody walk in from Charlotte on Friday. And so you got to kind of make a friend, and then you got to get out and show some property with them. She did the first part right, and then she gets out, and now we're showing property. First time showing, I'm really loose with my people. I open up the door, and I say, go have a look. I don't follow them. I don't hawk over them. I don't even really ask them a lot of questions. I want them to go. It'll kind of become self-evident if they like it or not. But there's one thing I want at the end. Before they leave, I'm at the front door. They're now ready to leave. I'm asking the question, and it's on here. It's very simple. I want to get from that very first showing, I want to get, what'd you think?
Very nice house. This one especially. Must be the model.
All right, so let me give you this mindset that I am in when I'm showing Jim around. The mindset is, I'm a real estate counselor at this point. I have a little bit of a wannabe from I studied just that much psych at UVA. I was an econ major, but that stunk. The psych was actually kind of interesting, human behavior. I like to know what makes you tick. And so for me, I might not be holding the legal pad, but in my mind, I'm creating this legal pad, and I'm starting with, what did you think? Oh, I liked it. If I can, I'm going to then go into, well, what'd you like about it? And then Jim's going to go, do, 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 do. And then I'm going to ask the next question. Do you mind if I ask? What didn't you like about it? Sometimes I'll lead with what didn't you like about it. Like, if you know it's kind of a beat up resale, they'll be very quick to want to give you their opinion. Have you experienced that? Oh, you, with your Charlotte lady, she was dogging on some of the homes, right? The condition, the kitchen's outdated. Now, there's not much not to like about the brand. The smell of the new home, I mean, but when you go into some of the resales out here, I mean, they are, or anywhere, or you show an occupied resale that has the dog in the cage over there. And has the, you know, I mean, you will see some crazy stuff, am I right? I mean, you will see some craziness. You will see homes totally unkept where you will leave there going, I can't believe that somebody's living here like this. I mean, how many times have you said that? You leave there going, I can't believe that they live like this. I just can't believe it. Like, would you consider doing your dishes? Like, I mean, you go in your kitchen and you're like, you guys need to clean up. Your house is for sale. You want $800,000 for it. Can you put the dishes in the dishwasher? Anyway, what didn't you like about it is a critical question, Mansoor, for you to ask the person that you're showing, because I want to know that. You know what? I didn't like the fact that there was no privacy in the backyard. Okay, I got that in my file. I didn't like the fact that there's no basement. Okay, I got that in my file. Okay, I didn't like the fact that the garage was down underneath and I got to walk upstairs. Okay, I got that in my mental file. If you just ask, what is it that you didn't like about it? And then literally, I've got my hands like this, and then I'm really kind of trying to study. I'm trying to study you and figure you out a little bit, because the whole thing that I like to do, if you want to be really good in real estate, you have to twist the Rubik's Cube until you get a match. You have to. So while I'm showing and you're telling me what you don't like about this home, I need to, do any of you guys, do you know the app Tinder?
I know of that. I am not on it. Put that up. I know of it. Christopher Eagle's never been on Tinder. Let's put that there.
All right.
I have no problem.
I like how you look at all of it.
I'm so sorry. I guess I don't understand the app that well. But
That's a good thing, Jeff.
you sit there and you swipe till you get somebody that I won't even ask you to explain. Anyway, what I'm doing is I am trying to figure out, okay, we're in this house and you said you didn't like this and you don't like this and you don't like this and you don't like that. Okay, now what in the heck am I going to do with Jim Stewart? We got to go to somewhere else, and I got to start kind of putting pieces together for him. And so, in order for me to start playing real estate Tinder, I have to hear from you, because this whole thing is all about you. As much as I want to get paid eventually off of this relationship, I have 2 kids in college and I want to pay their tuition. That's completely irrelevant to me serving you with your real estate needs. Are you kind of following me? Like, me wanting to get paid, it has nothing to do with it. So you have to just go with the philosophy that will all kind of work itself out if I am diligent enough in my daily prospecting and my showing and my routine. If I'm diligent with my routine, I'm going to stick with the routine. But when I'm with you, it's all about you, whether you want to lease. This is just me. Not everybody feels this way. But if the best thing for you to do is to rent, I want to help you rent something. I also know that if you're renting something, you're probably going to buy something eventually. So I want that second time. But I also know that to rent in this town, and Sarah Collier knows this, to rent in this town, it costs you $1,800 a month to get something that's in worse shape than those resales we just talked about. I mean, if you think some of the resales are beat up, wait till you start showing rental properties. Oh my goodness. So I will take you and show you the rentals, kind of knowing that it may be better off for you to purchase. That's a whole nother lesson. But I do that a lot. I did that recently with the balls. I think I explained that at least to Allison. All right, so first time I turn them loose. I'm not hawking them. I'm letting them go. Now, the only thing that's weird, and this happened to me just the other day, it is kind of weird. When the husband goes this way and the wife goes that way, I just let it kind of happen. You know, that's weird. You know, one's up, one's down, and then they kind of meet at the foyer. But after all that, the key question is, what'd you think? I like this, I didn't like that, good, good, good. And so we're kind of getting feedback. That first time out with people, we're just kind of getting feedback, building the file, showing them some things. And then I like to, at the right time, ask them, and it might even be before we look at the first house, but it might be, Jackie, if you could describe the perfect home for you, what would it be? And then I let them, if you ask that question to somebody, I'm just telling you, they will uncork. They will just let you know exactly what, and that may not be what they buy, but they will share that with you. Has anybody tried that before? Does anybody have experience with that? If you could describe the perfect home for you, what would that be? Part of the reason I do that, Mansoor, is a little bit sometimes to buy time. Like if I've done the real estate Tinder and I can't find it, and I'm switching around the Rubik's Cube and I can't really kind of figure out, I'm going to just kind of lay it on the line and say, if you could describe Mansoor the perfect home for you and your family, what would that be? Why don't you just kind of dream something up? What would it be? For you, I mean, pretend we're not in class now, just for you, if you were going to buy something, go ahead and put the dream on. What would it be?
I like one level house,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 bedrooms, that big, attached garage, hardwood floors, big kitchen. My demands are not that big.
Where would it be? If you were just dreaming, where would it be?
Somewhere out of town, but close enough.
Okay. In Albemarle County?
Yeah,
or?
probably. Maybe on Ivy Road.
Okay. You like Ivy? Okay, get ready to pay. You be Sarah's neighbor. No, that's for Union. Sorry. May I ask, why one level?
Kids, plus I don't like to go up and down all the time, so.
Okay. You prefer no stairs. What about, on that one level, what about terrace level? You okay with a basement underneath it, or you just want it one level?
Basement for storage, I think.
Mm-hmm. But not really any living area down there? Okay. So I'd hit the pause button. We all know there's plenty of those one level homes, and then I would have to kind of just start thinking about where are we going to go with that. And that's where hopefully this conversation takes place before we're in the car, because once I know that, then I can kind of line up a tour of these homes. What I have found though, this is very critical for you to understand. What he says he wants and what he buys are oftentimes two different animals. I heard a laugh. Do you agree with that? Mm-hmm. Have you found that? Mm-hmm. One of my very first clients, Walt and Marianne Sikorsky, came down from Long Island, New York, and I was working the model home at Raintree neighborhood. You know where that is? There used to be a model home in there once upon a time. You weren't even born yet. And so I'm working the model. In walks Walt and Marianne Sikorsky, and they told me, I'm a brand new agent. They told me, younger than him, brand new agent. They told me it had to be one level home on a perfectly flat corner lot. Some of the northern group, they like a corner lot. Like in some neighborhoods, a corner lot is a premium lot. Mm-hmm. You ever heard that? Mm-hmm. Found that? For me, I prefer the cul-de-sac, and that's a conversation you can have with people. Are you a cul-de-sac person? Corner person? For them, it had to be one level, flat, on a corner lot. I'm telling you, thankfully, back then, there was a listing agent for Republic Homes named Jerry Sandrich, and what I did, this was actually in the days of sub-agency. They didn't even have buyer brokerage yet, so that's another story. But well, all I did was take Walt and Marianne and made an appointment, and we met with Jerry Sandridge, the listing agent for Republic Homes. And I'm telling you, after looking at everything, they built a 2-story home up on an elevated lot at the end of the cul-de-sac. It was like, and I like wanted to talk them out of it because but you told me it had to be 1 level flat on the corner. So I don't know how you apply that other than, I think the lesson I wanted to share with you is don't get boxed into this is exactly what they say they want. So this is what I'm going to show them. You don't want to offend them by showing them something completely different than what you said. And the way I cross that bridge is I show Mansour what he's described. So he at least feels like I'm somewhat competent in my business. You said 1 level. Were you a cul-de-sac guy or did you care?
Not really.
1 level with 4 bedrooms and hardwood floors. I'm going to find that home. I'm going to show that to them. In and out. It's $319,000 down in Scottsville, for instance. Looks at it, and I'm going to go through, what'd you think? I didn't really get anything. Kind of came up empty. Not a lot of response from them. The way that I bridge that is I'm going to say to Mansour, I'm going to say, I know you like the 1 level with the hardwood and the 4 bedrooms. But would you mind if I showed you what is really, really hot in the marketplace, like what a lot of people are buying? Would you look at that with me? Give me a yes or no. Yes. They always give you a yes on that because people want to see what's hot in the market. So that's the way to kind of bridge from what he said he wanted to what you know. And for me, I start thinking, I'm taking him to, Sarah, have you sold Whittington? Mm-mm. Whittington's down there. Have anybody been to the Whittington model? It's sweet down there. So Whittington, you go down is that 5th Street? Mm-hmm. 5th Street, past Wegmans and all that. You go down and past Redfields.
It's like a mile and a quarter down.
Down there on your right. So just keep in mind, the doctors, I thankfully work with a lot of doctors, and they love living in that area from Whittington to Redfields and Mosby Mountain. That little stretch of turf right there, it's kind of a straight shot to the hospital there, but you know, it's still, it's close enough. So just kind of, you may want to kind of be familiar when you see something on the open house tour that's open in that area, or go to the Whittington model. It's much like this. It's impressive. It's 700 and up probably.
Yeah, I think about 900.
Yeah. So if that was out of his price range, I might not waste my time if that was it, but if that was anywhere in his price range, I would, and that's what's nice about knowing where the new construction models are. The other thing that's nice about that is most of the new construction models, well, there's somebody there that can help you, gives you a chance to kind of drink, because they always have, we're not taking any today, but they always, I mean, look at this thing, this kitchen of goodness here. They always have a soda that you can kind of get refueled with, and then you turn them over to the salesperson there, and then you kind of get a little bit of a break. But that opens their mind to, gee, well, maybe we should consider this instead of the 1 level on 2 acres in Scottsville. I mean, you're at least kind of opening their mind to that. All right, now, so let me just run through these questions. What'd you think? What did you not like about this property? What did you like? Start building your file. I think it might be premature to ask this question, but I like to ask this question. If you get a nibble at all, if you're a nibble, you just toss out, could you see yourself living here? And you obviously, there's 3 answers to that. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. But it's just kind of a quick probe. If you feel like you know, if you're seeing, what you'll find is, you don't usually have to be this slick closer dude. You just have to show your people property and have a strategy, and the one rises to the top for them. And you have to kind of just help shepherd them through the process of finding the one that rises to the top. But just to kind of open their eyes to, could you see yourself living here? Oh, sometimes it's like a little water in the face. Oh, we're actually, oh, yeah. I mean, because sometimes they get caught up that this is going to be a 3-hour tour looking at homes. And, we're in the first one. I just want to know, I mean, could you see yourself living here? How about this neighborhood? Is this something? And I'm not trying to jam this on you. I'm just trying to find out, is this kind of what you like? And sometimes you're going to get positive reaction, and sometimes you're like, no, we're not even. So it's just a probe. But the goal, here it is. After you've shown them 3 properties, Mansoor, here's what you want to do. Here's the key question. Before they leave your presence, before Charlotte leaves your presence, which one did you like the best? Take this whole world and narrow it down for them. Which one did you like the best? Let's role play on that. Allison, you're Charlotte. I just showed you, was it 3 homes?
We saw 2 and then the model.
So 3 altogether. Okay. I'm calling her Charlotte. That's only because she's from Charlotte.
Got it.
Charlotte. Of the 3 we saw today, I'm just curious, which one did you like the best?
Oh, the model by far.
What is it about the model that you like the best?
It's new and updated with the finishes that I have in my current house and would like to have in my next house.
Is there anything you would change with the model?
I'm not sure we need a basement.
Do you have a basement now?
A storage basement, but not a live-in basement.
And
And see, now it's just my husband and me,
I said,
and
maybe
yeah.
too big.
Right.
All right. The only thing, Charlotte, as your real estate coach here, I work for you on this deal. Part of my job is to obviously help you find exactly what you want, but I'm also going to try to educate you on our local marketplace. If you don't want a basement, you can build typically on a crawl space in this market. Sometimes it's a concrete slab. The basement, or as we prefer to call it, the terrace level. The homes with the terrace level, I'm just telling you, when I go to resell a home with a terrace level usually sells quicker than one without it. And it's not that much more. So we can talk about that another time. But now I'm trying to bring in kind of the local expert part without staying there too long, just to kind of open her eyes to that. So take the 3 homes. She likes this the best. Okay, so that's good. We've kind of narrowed it down. And now, depending on, Charlotte's going back to Charlotte in this case. If Charlotte lived here, it'd be fun. You'll never hear from them ever again. Ever. Because somebody else out there is brave enough and strategic enough to ask for the next appointment. You have to nail down the next appointment, or at least try for it. And if you don't try, let me just tell you, these appointments don't just materialize or manifest themselves. You have to come asking for the appointment. And so we're at the end here, and time is of the essence, and Charlotte wants to leave to catch a plane. In this case, I'm going to pretend Charlotte just needs to get home to see her daughter, or whatever.
She was leaving that afternoon.
Okay, so Charlotte had to go home, and I'm going to pretend she's here in town. I'm going to say, okay, Charlotte, let me ask you a question. Could we set up a time to get together, maybe look at a few more homes, but then what I'd like to do with you is just to introduce to you the idea of building, because just sort of listening to you, it seems like building is something you could potentially want to explore. Is during the week or the weekend better for you? I'm gonna go right into one of my. I'm gonna try, and hopefully I've done a good enough job. She doesn't think I'm a criminal. She trusts me. We're having fun. She's seeing just a little bit of knowledge in here, and now I'm gonna go for the appointment, because I will tell you, and Sarah will confirm this, if I could take you from that first appointment to the second appointment, I've just changed the odds of making a deal with you from like 1 in 20 to about 1 in 5. That whole difference between the first appointment and the second appointment. And then just so you know, just statistically speaking, to get to the third appointment, if I have you on the third appointment, I'm just telling you, it won't happen for you overnight, but just kind of where I am in my career, if this is the third time we're looking at real estate, I'm telling you, we're writing a contract. We are. It just is the way it works. First time is long shot. Second time, we are really getting serious. And third time, we're writing a contract. And so what's my goal? I want to take Charlotte from the first appointment to the second appointment. First appointment to the second appointment. I want her to like me, trust me, and want to do business with me. How am I going to do that? I'm going to ask her, pepper her with a lot of these questions, maybe even get her to sing. Not quite. But I am going to find out what her interests are, and then I'm going to show her some property, and then I'm going to line up the next appointment. Let me take a pause there and see who has a question or a comment. Is that hard to do? Is it help you to know what your strategy is going into it? Strategy is, I'm going to line up the next appointment. I'm going to show, make a friend, and then get the next appointment.
Have you guys covered like how many houses you should show in a day or what?
No, we
'Cause
haven't.
that was something I did in the beginning. Was I was so hungry for buyers. I was like, sure, I'll show you 10 houses in a day,
Yeah.
and it's horrible.
Yes. What is your number?
I try not to do more than 5. I prefer 4 or less.
Yeah, they blur after 5.
Yeah.
You just can't remember. And what you probably found is that you're doing a disservice to them to show more than 5. They think they want 5. They're here for the whole week. In that case, you're better off breaking it up in a chunk. Like let's do Saturday morning and Sunday morning if we have to do it that way. But to power through, we're here for the weekend and we want to see these 25 homes. It's hard.
So if you're going into that, you're showing multiple properties, are you walking in to that meeting with these folks knowing that you plan on showing them these 4? Do you have like printout on each of these 4 that are in a font binder or some sort of folder with your business card on it saying, hey, here's the 4 we're looking at, so at the end of this you can remember the details. Here's my pen.
If I'm organized enough, I am.
Okay.
But sometimes it comes so fast that it's like, yeah, let's go, and I hate to say the word wing it, but we will, and then once we've seen them, if there's one, I might photograph them in front of the one that they like, or photograph the one, and then follow up with an email photo of that one to them. But if I have the time, if this is a doctor client coming in a week from tomorrow, yeah, I'm gonna print it out, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have a conversation. Tell me about your dream home, and I'm gonna print it out. And if I'm really good, I'm gonna do better than just slip it in a folder. I like to find a little Jeff Gaffney Real Estate 3 propaganda, and then I'm gonna send that down to what's Kinko's called now?
FedEx.
FedEx. I'm gonna send that down to them. They bind it up, pick it up on my way to see them, and that's what I like to do. And so I do like to walk in with just a little, here's the thing. And if you guys want to talk about that at one of these classes, like what to put in there, we can do that. But I prefer that. I feel better kind of walking in. Here's the little thing for you. Yeah, here you go. And if it's husband and wife deal, here's a little something for both of you. And then sometimes in there though, if you find that you feel like your packet's a little thin, sometimes I'll take a Fine Properties and pop it in there and a Real Estate Weekly and a couple of those things and fill it in. So here you go. Any of these. Let's go. I know some agents that like to do the iPad thing with their clients. They'll get online and let them kind of flip around in the car. I haven't done that. Have you ever done that? Never done that?
It's hard with the signal once you get out of town.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so whole first showing. I'm going to take Charlotte and try to get a second showing. Okay? All right, now we're on the second showing. Everything changes between the first showing and the second showing. Second showing, I am going for serious involvement questions. Now I'm making an assumption here that, let's take Charlotte. Charlotte, we were probably on the second showing. You'll probably want to line up a few other homes that she hadn't seen based upon your market knowledge, but then you'll want to zero back to the model and then eventually look at some home sites. And so now I'm in here with Charlotte the second time. Now she does not quite feel me breathing on her shoulder, but I'm close. I'm not just letting her run, or eventually if she does run, I'm going to gather her here and I'm going to start asking questions. And here are the questions. These are questions that help your client start to live in the home. We want them to start to mentally occupy the home. And so let me ask you something, Charlotte. Charlotte, what do you think about a kitchen with an island? Let's role play. Charlotte, what do you think about the kitchen with the island?
I like an island.
Are you a fan of the granite?
Yes.
That's an easy one. Most people like granite. Sometimes they'll say I'll take a different choice, but almost everybody is like, yes, I like the granite. Let me ask you this, Charlotte. What do you think? And now I'm sort of working up a sweat in a lather. Now let me ask you something. What do you think about the idea of having this keeping room off of the kitchen? Do you like a setup where you have a keeping room right here off of the kitchen? Now we're getting into kind of demo time.
Yeah,
what do you think about this?
No, I absolutely like it.
You like this because where I'm heading, if those of you have taken my class before, where I'm heading is the summation close or the reservation close, but I'm stringing together, I'm getting her involved and I'm stringing together some yeses, or if I'm not getting a yes, I'm turning into problem solver mode. So, what do you think of the island? What do you think of this? Let me ask you something, Charlotte. Do you like a family room that's wide open to the kitchen?
Yes.
Do you like this style layout? Most people do in the marketplace today. This is what now I'm trying to institute a little bit of market knowledge. Most people like today's lifestyle is that they like less emphasis on the formal and more on the informal. Is this kind of your type of living right
Yes.
here? Do you like a fireplace in the family room? Do
Absolutely.
you like gas or wood burning?
If I get my husband to do it, I'd rather have wood burning. But for me, I'd rather have gas.
Hit the switch. Let me ask you something. What do you think about kind of the wood beams that they've done in the family room? Is that your style? Do you like this?
Well, I don't know. That's really the only wood color in this room. I'm not a fan.
Painted or it's just no?
Yeah, maybe
No.
painted. Because what do they look like in the dining room?
I think this is the only room with them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, painted. Let's go with that.
Painted, you would like it if it was painted, not the kind of the oak or whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. Time out. Here's another very important question for me to start asking because now we're looking. This is the second trip. It's not out of the realm that she's buying. Sorry. It's not out of the realm that she's buying today. Let me ask you something, Charlotte. This home has a first floor master bedroom. Some people have not even thought this through. What do you think about having a first floor master bedroom or a second floor master bedroom? Which one do you prefer?
Well, I want to sleep in the first floor, but this one has both.
Yes. You like the idea of the double master suite?
Well, I really don't need it because we have a small family and I'm not planning on having any in-laws or anybody else who needs a master staying in my home.
Yeah. Oh, but what about Emily when she comes back after college? Not coming back. But for
I'm
you,
moving in with her.
for you and your lifestyle, it's master down
Yes.
and then a couple of guest bedrooms upstairs?
Yeah, I'd like to have a couple en suites,
Mhm.
bathrooms
Mhm.
with each bedroom, but it doesn't have to be a full-on master.
If you were to kind of just, and now I'm in full peppering mode, but I feel like we're picking up the pace here. What would the size home be? The perfect size for you and Zip? What would that be? Do you kind of have a feel for square footage?
Anyway, I'm just laughing. About 3,000 square feet is what Charlotte wants.
3,000. Gotcha. And would that
We've had a larger home and currently we're in a smaller home.
Yes.
And we're thinking between 3,000 and 3,500.
how big is your
So
home?
this
now?
home right now is with a full basement. It's too big.
How big is the home you're living in?
2,800 is what she
Okay.
said.
All right. So she's not really downsizing. She's just taking the home where she is and relocating it here.
Right, because they've already downsized,
I got
but they downsized too far.
Mm-hmm.
They went too small.
Here's another key question, if I can get around to this. What do you like most about the home that you're living in Charlotte right now? What do you like the most about that home?
The location,
Oh, where is it?
what she said, in Charlotte.
That's a big city.
The governor's something or other.
If any of you are fans of Tommy Hopkins, which I recommend highly, there's a couple of books that you need to read. You have to read. You have to read. Yes, Christopher, you have to read.
I do read.
You have to read. You have to read this.
Okay.
You have to read Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and you need to read that like multiple times because that teaches in depth everything we talked about in terms of making a friend. Second book you have to read is Tommy Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Selling Real Estate. You have to read that. You have to read both those books. You have to internalize those books. One of the things Tommy Hopkins says is, and it's kind of cheesy, but I do it, when you get one of those questions, what do you like most about the home you're living in now? The location. What about it? It's in Charlotte. And haha. Tommy Hopkins would say, lean in and say, tell me more. And as cheesy as it is, at some point in your presentation, when you need to get more, you might lean in and say, tell me more.
What she said was that she lived in a newer neighborhood and it was well kept, much more well kept than the Glenmore neighborhood.
Oh!
She was dogging
Got boom!
She was not a fan of the neighborhood, let's say.
Wow!
Yes.
James Grant, something like that.
Maybe. I think it was governor or something or other.
Governor's, not Governor's Club, that's in
No.
Williamsburg.
Anyway, that matters, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just,
Okay.
those are the things that she told me about.
Third book, before I forget, you have to read. Go out and read this. Keep this with you on your phone or whatever you'd like to read on. It's called Selling the Invisible by Henry Beckwith. Excuse me, Harry Beckwith. Harry Beckwith. Selling the Invisible. It's all about relationship. It will just confirm everything we've said in terms of how important it is to have a deep relationship with your prospects, your clients, people that you're serving. Note cards comes up again and again. And where was I going with you? Let me pause for a second.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so we went into the tell me more, but what I wanted to get from Charlotte was these series of involvement questions. I now know my file that I have in my head of Charlotte is that she wants 2,800 square feet, maybe a basement, maybe not. She wants a first floor master bedroom. She wants a jacked up kitchen like we have here. She likes the family room off of the kitchen. She likes a layout like this. What I haven't tackled is, what do you think about the formal rooms? Sometimes coming from Charlotte, she's going to say she doesn't like the living room. I never used the living room. I'm going to help tutor her in the fact that in our marketplace, this is Thomas Jefferson's country, and I hate to tell you, every home has to have one. You'll see homes here without a living room, but if you're building one, I'm just telling you, you need to build one with a living room. They sell better. Now, if you absolutely are adamant about no living room, then don't do a living room. But I'm just going to tell you about our marketplace. Our marketplace likes formal rooms up front and informal in the back. Some people leave off the living room because they come from Charlotte and they think they have the world beat and they have the one big great room which is really nice, and then they go to sell it and everybody says this is really nice, but there's a room that's missing. I can't tell you how many times I've had to deal with that. So I'm going to kind of impart some of that knowledge to her, tell her about this. But really where I want to go with this second showing is I'm going to pretend that we looked the second day. I'm going to pretend that this is the home.
Okay.
Then I'm feeling it. We're all feeling it. We're kind of at that moment. And it's this moment where I either kind of test to see where we are, or we get to the, hey, thanks a lot, see you, give me a call, and I really don't want to be that guy. Because then I won't see him again. I want to help my client. All right, so just kind of try to give me a positive vibe on this. Don't fight me. We are on camera.
Did you edit that?
Allison, let me just ask you, this is a straight probe. Could you see yourself living here?
Absolutely.
You like this home?
I do like this home.
Okay, pretend you didn't hear all the rest of what I said. This is kind of a new take two. So you could see yourself living here?
I could.
Well, let me tell you what I heard you say, and correct me if I misspeak. But I heard you say you like the kitchen
I do.
with the granite and the island. I also heard you say you like the keeping room off of the kitchen. You like this setup. You like the family room to the kitchen, the way that this is open. And you like a first floor master bedroom. Now, this home is on the market for $857,000. We've already talked about how we were going to look up to $950,000, so it's not even at the upper end of your budget. Let me just ask you, do you feel like you want to put an offer in on this home today? Say no.
No, not quite. I mean, I'm almost there, but we still need to think it over a little bit and talk about it a little bit. And,
I am totally into that. I do the same thing. My wife and I often have the rule that we'll sleep on it, pray about it, and then, see if it feels right in the morning. Is there anything else kind of holding you back that we haven't discussed? Is there anything else, or is it really just you want to kind of think about it?
I think we want to think about it. We've gone through this process pretty quickly, and we hadn't really established a timeline for ourselves, and we just really need to think about it a little bit.
Well, so I can go one or two ways here, depending on what the vibe is. Vibe one is, let's go ahead and set up the appointment for tomorrow and see how it feels. So vibe one might be, well, let's come back here. Why don't we come back here tomorrow? This is a model home. Traffic won't get heavy in here until probably 1 o'clock. You want to meet here at, say, 10 or 11 tomorrow and just see if it feels the same? Would that make sense?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, let's do that. So if we do that, then we'll tie down the appointment and we'll kind of start all over again. If that's the vibe. Another vibe is if she is getting on a plane to go back to Charlotte. Here is what I found. If she leaves me on a jet plane.
No, I'll be back again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yours is better. If she leaves on the jet plane, statistics show I will never see her again. She may never come here, and if she does, 50-50 chance whether or not. Have you ever had that? They leave and that's the end of that. You follow up and you find out you bought where? But how could you buy if I wasn't there? Oh, you used somebody else. I just throw this out here. If she's getting ready to go on that plane and they want to think about it, I respect that totally. Let me ask you something, Charlotte. Would you be interested in reserving this home while you fly back to Charlotte, think about it, and while it's under reservation, if it doesn't feel right in the morning, you just call me and we rip up our agreement and we'll find you something else.
What does that mean?
That's exactly what I wanted to say. Come with me. And we're heading back into, what is it, if I can get her to kind of just nibble on, tell me more about the reservation process, I'm going back into my conference room and we're breaking up the paperwork. I'm gonna walk through the whole reservation process. And then, you know, she may or may not want to sign it. She may, sometimes they say, well, let me take it with me, or da-da-da, you know. So I'm not going to push, but I am going to open their mind to the idea that we can reserve this house before you go. And then what's great about that, and here's, if I get a nibble on the, oh, how do we reserve it? Oh, how does that work? Can we do that? If I get kind of an enthusiastic response, I'm going to go in. The great thing about reserving it is while you fly back to Charlotte, the home will be off the market. Nobody else will be able to come in and buy it out from underneath you. And here we are in May in Charlottesville, Virginia, in the middle of a super vibrant marketplace. And so if you're comfortable doing that, it's a win-win situation for you. You'll be in control of this property unless you decide, until you decide if you don't want it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, let's go talk about, let me just kind of take you back to the sales center, walk you through that whole process. Let me take a break there. Who has trouble with that? Who has a problem with that? Who has a question with that? Come on, Sarah. What aren't you getting?
Your buyer-broker agreement?
Yeah, well, we've already covered that.
Okay.
Keep going.
What aren't you getting?
What don't you understand, or what don't you agree with, or what don't you jive with this technique? You buy it all? You take it? Jim?
We talked about this in a previous class. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You good with it?
And it's 100% of shots on tape.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know you're getting on a plane, but here's the thing I want to share with you. You've got to have this in your back pocket. You got to know what the strategies are. If not, you're going to waste your Friday afternoon with Charlotte and not have any clue of what the map is to help her relocate here. Because at the end of the day, it's about helping Charlotte.
Right.
Relocate. She walked in to the sales center at 12 o'clock on a Friday, and she wants your professional service, and you provided it to her. And now you're going to kind of show her the way. Help her get there. What other questions do we have? What's the time?
27:28.
All right. Questions.
So that's a contingency clause you're putting in the
Yes.
reservation.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And are you sharing with the customer, you know, kind of what you just said, that this is a dynamic market, and, you know, I see that you are really interested in this, and this is a dynamic market. I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm kind of confirming, I'm proposing the reservation. They thought it was a good idea. I'm confirming that their thought is a good idea. The reason why your thought is a good idea is that it's a crazy market right now. And we found a house that you think you like, but you just need some time to think about it. So here's how we're going to put this baby to bed for you while you think about it. And what I use there is, you can use the 3-day right of rescission if it's in a subdivision, or you can, or what I'll usually write is take a blank addendum, and I'll write, this contract's contingent on purchaser's final approval within 72 hours, or this contract may be declared null and void. And so when I present that contract to the listing agent, that's a whole nother class. Because they'll be like, what's this? Final approval? Then you gotta kind of walk them through and say, well, that's, you get 30 days anyway for the HOA, so what's your risk? Questions, comments?
Can you do that on a property that doesn't have an HOA?
Yes. It's a little tougher sell though. That's why I wanted to gear this towards your folks that were looking at the city market. The whole conversation at the bottom there was, let me just read this dialogue. This is my Bert and Ernie dialogue. Where'd it go? Oh, right down at the bottom. This is me. Do you want to make an offer on the property? Then, we want to think about it. Me, would you consider reserving this home while you think about it? I mean, it's literally, I hate to be that robotic and mechanical, but I need to kind of have I'm telling you, 8 times out of 10 you're going to hear, we need to think about it. Well, you need to have kind of a planned, thought out response to that. Would you consider reserving it while you think about it? How do you do that? Go back, I'll walk you through. They kind of, I'm not saying dig their own hole, but they kind of, they kind of shepherd you, they shepherd themselves to that. But I'm helping Charlotte because she's leaving and this house is about to get sold out from underneath her. That's where my heart is. All right. You go down to the reservation close at the bottom.
Yep.
This is the last thing we're going to do. We're just going to read it. You are the first line on the second line. You're the third.
Okay. On the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're doing it reverse.
Yep.
All right. Would you like to make an offer on this property?
I think we need to think about it.
I understand that. How about this? Would you like to reserve the property?
How does that work?
I don't know. I have to ask Jeff. Step into my office.
Now, I will also say this. Sometimes if I know Sarah Collier's on the other end of this, like she's the listing agent, I will probably start putting caveats in there like, I have to check with the listing agent. I'll call Sarah. I know her. But I think we could phrase this so that we write the contract contingent on your approval in 72 hours or the contract's null and void. And I don't mind calling Sarah, and I know her well enough that I can call her and kind of explain your situation. I think she'll go along with us. And so I'll kind of preface that you know, it's not 100% that they'll do this. You know, I'll probably couch it just a little bit. Other questions? Christopher, can you do this?
Absolutely.
Sarah's done it.
So Sarah, you were on the receiving end of this. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, I was?
With Jeff?
No.
No.
Never? Okay.
With any agent with a reservation clause in the
I have not been.
It takes a little splaining. Builders do it all the time. Because builders are hungry for sales. And they'll take that chance. A resale, it's a little bit more difficult. If you feel like there's going to be multiple contracts on a property, don't even bother. But if it's, you know, like this, a $850,000 home, and the only thing holding you back is that you need to think about it, it's doable. It's worth trying. All right, we did not cover, we were going to go back into open houses. We're going to push that to next week because we are done with our power hour. Let me ask, how was Tim's class yesterday? Good? Yeah, he's a genius listing presentation. Did you learn a lot?
Yes. I don't know how much I don't know.
Well, just realize though that I use about 1/10 of what he uses. Like I can't do it all. I was telling Sarah that. I mean, did he bring out the book and everything?
Yeah.
I can't do it all. I have like, I told Sarah, don't homeless. I told Sarah, I have my listing book, which I think that's the thing that Tim really motivated me. That when I come into a listing, I have a listing book, so I have something I can walk them through. But I go right to the middle of my listing book and walk them through one specific page, and the rest I say it's for you to thumb through. So don't be discouraged was the point of that.
Don't be overwhelmed by all that.
No, you have to kind of take a little bit of this and that and make it yours. Yeah. All right, thanks. We are done.